Hello guys, I want to make just a quick video and it's going to be for you to take into account the psychology of the markets. I know this sounds like fucking BS, something that I tell when the market goes down, but I've been focusing on psychology and markets all the time. I have been trying to project psychology in the charts and explain why, but most people don't care because why is it going down or can it go up? First of all, guys, when you play the riskiest assets in the riskiest market there is, you should hold them for too you shouldn't hold them for too long, right? They should be hot in your hands because they all gravitate around BTC and then USDT dominance, which is the inverse chart to BTC. They are inversely correlated. So that you shouldn't hold them for too long. I know that holding them for too long comes from the idea of what if I miss the rally? But you need to understand how the market works. And what if I miss the rally is greed, right? And you have seen recently what just this chop for BTC and the capitulation for now has decimated altcoins, right? The same way that when BTC flies, altcoins can print 8x, 10x in a month, right? So never forget what psychology is in the market and how they play around it. How in every correction, everything looks like it's over, and in every push up, it feels like it will never stop. I presented and I analyzed the correction in March 2024 into September, that how technically you could analyze this and say it was a clear downtrend, right? Lower highs, lower lows. However, structure was never broken. Oh, you say this now in hindsight. Dude, I was here. I was analyzing all this. And the moment the trend started shifting and we started making higher highs and higher lows, then I confidently said that this was shifting and the MA and the weekly was shifting. And I don't say that in hindsight. You can search for my posts on Twitter if you want. And these, even though people didn't realize back then because it was painful, let me look for the right tools. These was a bull flag after a huge impulse that started here after this range that also looked terrible. It held, right? It held all the MAs, moving averages, to load for this, to allow for this huge impulse with some stop in between, right? And it's a bull flag that broke to the upside, right? So you might think this time is different because people are sharing a gazillion different charts, but I want you to warn that most people start looking for new charts to justify what they didn't see before. So I would rather stick to those that share the same strategy, the same charts, because that's the only way you progress. It's like going to the gym and changing your routine every month completely. How the fuck are you gonna track progress if you change it every other day, every other month, every other week? How do you know? How can you know if it's valid, working or not? What are the invalidations if you change them completely? So here people got fooled. Here people got fooled as well, but they didn't identify this local top into a Fibonacci. If I'm not wrong, this was the Fibonacci measure from the previous top here in March. Pretty much was into a Fibonacci what we are doing now, right? So wait until there's true invalidation, because even if I show you a random, well, not a random, a general schematic of reaccumulations and redistributions, accumulation, and all that, even in the schematic, right, you can see, as a general example, you can see the fake outs, fake belows, accumulation, fake above in distribution, and even in reaccumulation. So now people might think, oh, we are breaking up, it's over, because these high time frame moves include many hours of pain for retail. This could be months. So I could tell you, as I said here, in all this chopping from March into September. Now, after the fact, I can explain it, and you can say, oh, it's obvious. But if I explained that back then, after you've been suffering for 8 months, you would have told me emotionally that fuck off because it's over and I couldn't see it. I was blinded. No, the difference is I stick to data even if my bags are down, because my bags were temporarily down here. I started loading slowly here, right, in this correction, because I didn't know how far back down they could go, but I believe the bull market was alive. Even though I took money off here, the rest I reinvested it and reallocated. So temporarily I was down until the new push here in Q4, right? So if you just react emotionally to price action, you will be always be late. So remember that. Even in these reaccumulations and these schematics, people freaking lose their minds. And actually, if you pay attention to this, please tell me this is not an accumulation phase that breaks to the upside with some correction in between, the final impulse into exhaustion of the move. It's so over because it's lower highs and lower lows is the same freaking thing, right? This is Wyckoff all the freaking time. And then it expands again, corrects, and we push. So you might think, okay, then this must be distribution, just because this drawing ends here. No, just take a look at the rest of the indicators, which I'm not going to explain in detail here. That's why I have my private group. And sorry if you don't agree with that, but I'm not going to share publicly and for free all the thousands of hours that I have spent in this market. But you need to analyze the rest of the things, the rest of the markets, how macro hasn't changed and all that, and then you get the conclusions if this is the top or not. But again, don't be fooled by the most recent price action, because that's why markets are designed the way they are. That's why time capitulation is used by whales, by market makers, to desperate people, to frustrate people, especially now in a society that is completely hooked and addicted to TikTok reels, Instagram reels, 30 seconds attention span, addicted to reels, to dopamine hits. So if they couldn't wait for a few weeks years ago, now it's even worse. And they invest in the riskiest and most volatile assets because they want returns now, right? So again, time capitulation is easy. They don't need to even tank price. They just need to desperate you and let you lose your control and your minds over a price action that isn't going the way you expect it. And then you start following people that tells you in December, in July, in October, in January, whenever you want to believe it's going to happen, that price is going to go up, and then you sleep well. And when it doesn't happen, you feel frustrated and you just start looking for someone else that tells you again what you want to hear. But the market, if the market really, really worked in like fixed time windows, why would time capitulation exist? It wouldn't make any sense. Everybody would be ready for what is supposed to happen. So if the time windows existed perfectly, and I knew, for example, that we were going to pump into January, I would be loading here. I wouldn't be worried, and everyone would be rich. Right? The market makers, the market itself will never make you believe the best time to buy is obvious, and it's comfortable, and it's easy. And it's just about buying and waiting. That's why buying tops feels so freaking comfortable, because everything is going up. Everyone is exciting. Everyone is promising higher prices. So it's super easy. I buy, I wait a little bit more. And just like that, with 5 minutes, with a 5-minute video that I just watched, I have made my way into freedom. How about that? Even better than lottery, right? So again, don't be fooled. This market is tough as fuck. Don't backhold absolute garbage, because all altcoins are pretty much garbage, right? And the smaller they are, the worse they get. So again, be smart. Selling and buying will never feel comfortable, and wait at least until everything is broken to start saying that this is over. Because if you follow people who say that now the bear market has started, they should have seen it here, not here. Because I read that the same thing here. We weren't going to see 100k BTC this cycle. A few months later, all season, baby. Only to dump later, and the cycle top was saying, wait, no. That now we're going to see 175k, 150k, 200k all season by December. Now the top is again in. So those are just reactions to price action. I'm not saying you have to be blind, but there has to be conviction from actually a real solid plan, not just what I feel or cherry picking data to support what I now believe based on price action. Because after all, that's a recipe for disaster, right? I'm for chasing all the time. So again, pay attention to how the market is manipulated and how you can depress people and drop bags at the worst time to drop them, fear, and make them buy at the worst time to buy, excitement, without confirmation, traps, all the time. It's never easy, it's never obvious, and it's a game of probabilities. No one will ever know what's going to happen next. That's why you have to get all the solid data you can and bet on that. That's it, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. Okay? In my opinion, as long as we hold 100K, more or less, because there's good data supporting that, but I'm going to simplify that. Around 100K, we are good. If we start closing below and 100K becomes resistance, to me, that's the sign that this is over. I can't bet on that, especially with BTC dominance without rolling over a market without any kind of euphoria for almost a year, and that this was just peanuts, right? So again, be careful if you want to make it. Be careful who you follow. Be careful what you read, and don't try to feed bad habits. By bad habits, I mean trying to look for answers every single day, because you need to know what's going to happen and what's going on, because that's when you start believing and following millions of takes, and that only bring noise, because all those takes you will see they cannot coexist. It's one or the other. Which one do you believe? You don't know what to believe. You are trading on borrowed conviction, and that's a way to really ruin your hard-earned money. So don't trust it in anyone else. It's not exciting to say that you have to work on it, that you have to learn and develop your own strategy, but it's the way to make it, right? It's way easier to sell dreams that you can just follow what I say and you will make it. And I'm giving it for free on YouTube. That's what most people do. And we know good things are never easy. So let's wait to see how the weekly closes. Again, nothing has broken yet. See ya.